Hello guys, hello family, hello friends. This is Dr. T and welcome to Clinical Medicine with Dr. T. So guys, Happy New Year, Happy New Year. I hope you guys are doing great. I hope the guys who have just started their internship, I hope that is going well. I hope you guys are enjoying the learning and just picking up that experience as you go. So this is my first video for the year. It's been hectic, guys, as most of you know that on the 3rd of January I started my community service. So I'm a community service medical officer, so as from the 3rd of January. So I'm gonna tell you about that. I'm gonna just share my experience, my two weeks experience of being a ComServe or a community service medical officer. So guys, I'm not gonna talk about the level of chaos and disorganization that is in the department, in the hospitals that we work in, like starting from HR, administration and accommodation, all these other things. Those are the challenges, one of the challenges, or one of the major challenges, or some of the major challenges that we had to go through. They are not nice challenges, but yeah, I'm not going to talk about that. My channel is about clinical medicine anyway, so I'll leave the other things for the other people to talk about. They don't really interest me, but they're just so annoying. They are so horrible. They are so horrible. The level of disorganization is so horrible. It's like no one cares anymore. But anyway, so when we applied for ComServe last year, in my mind, I wanted to go to the clinics. I wanted to work at the clinics, and I made sure that my first 3 options were all clinics. But fortunately or unfortunately, I got a district hospital, which was my 4th choice. Yeah, grateful that I have a job. And the reason why I didn't bother trying to change or swap is because it was still an option for me. So it was my 4th option. So the reason why I wanted to go to the clinics is because I wanted to rest a bit. I mean, when you compare a clinic to a hospital, yeah, there's a difference. You work harder at the hospital than at the clinic. So I wanted to take it easy this year, just to rest a bit and also get my life together, and also get my other lives that I have, my other things that I have that have been on hold ever since I started medicine and internship, and get those running as well. But yeah, didn't happen like that. So I got placed at a district hospital, at a level 1 hospital. So the hospital that I'm working in is about an hour's drive from where I did my internship, which is in Nelson Mandela Academic. So it's an hour's drive from Mthatha. So it's a district hospital. I don't know how many beds we have in this hospital, but most district hospitals, there are districts that have got about 150 beds, and there are those that have got 200, 220, 250, some 260, 270, around there. But I don't know of any district that's got more than 300 beds. So where I'm working, these are the services that we render. We have casualty, where we see emergencies, both medical and surgical emergencies. We have OPD, we have Pete's ward, we've got male medical ward and a female medical ward, male and female surgical ward. We have an isolation because of COVID. We have an isolation ward. We've got maternity. We do cesarean sections. So the only operations that we do is cesarean sections. We don't do any other operations. And all those C-sections are done under spinal. Yeah. So there's a TB ward as well. And then there's also an ARV clinic. So those are the main ones that I can think of today, that I can think of right now. So when we came on the 3rd, so we are three ComServes, new ComServes. There's one guy that studied in WUSU, Walters University, and he went to do his internship in Newcastle. Then there's another doctor, I'm not gonna call them by their names, who studied in KZN and did her internship in is it Arish Khan? Yeah. So you know, for her it's so unfortunate that she has never been to the Eastern Cape, but she's placed in the Eastern Cape. So I mean, when you don't want to go to a place, just know that there's someone who who's more disadvantaged than you are. So she's never been to the Eastern Cape, and we communicated before we came here, so she was like panicking about everything. But yeah, she's also part of the team. So in this hospital, there's like, when we came, there's like they've got like 4 doctors, and they had 3 ComServes that have left. Only 1 is remaining, the 2 have left. And then there's like a doctor who resigned, and then there 1 other ComServe, the remaining one is gonna be here until March, is finishing her ComServe in March. So basically we have 4 doctors, there's 4 senior doctors and 4 ComServes at this point. Okay, so when we came on the 3rd, we thought that maybe on the 3rd we're gonna be busy with our HR things and get accommodation, blah 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 blah. But to our surprise, we were told to start working because there's a shortage, there's people on leave, there's this, that. So I was told to take care of surgical wards. So surgical ward is female and male surgical wards. The other ComServe was told to take care of medical ward. The other one was told to take care of casualty. But the following day, the one who was doing casualty was told to go to male medical ward, and then the other one was now is taking care of female medical ward. So my role as someone who works in the surgical ward was that I do rounds there. When there's a Caesar, the doctor in maternity, who's a senior doctor, when he has a Caesar, he's gonna tell me, and then I'll have to go and help him. So basically I was just doing spinals, I was just doing the anesthesia, and then he was doing the cutting. He was the surgeon and assisted by a nurse. So now I think in district hospitals, it's not a doctor who's the assistant surgeon, is the nurse. They are very experienced, they know everything, they know what to do. So so in theater there's always like 2 doctors, the one who do the anesthesia, and then the other one who the other one does the cutting is a surgeon, assisted by a nurse, a professional nurse. So, and after that I would have to go to OPD and help in OPD. So it means that during my rounds, whenever they say there's a Caesar, I would have to stop and go and and do the spinals. There are days we'd have 3 scissors, 6 scissors, 5. So on that day, my first day, we had about 6 C-sections. So yeah, so that's my role. And on top of that, so the other ComServes, they do their ward rounds. Unfortunately, they haven't really been able to go to OPD because of how hectic medical wards are, how heavy they are. You know, people are always sick in medical wards. So their rounds, they take like almost the entire day. So I'm the one who was able to finish and go to OPD and push. Because, I mean, surgical patients, many of them are stable. And okay, while I'm still talking about that, let me just tell you about the patients that I see, that I take care of. So the first week I was doing both male and female surgical ward, but then this week, which is the second week, the doctor who was on leave came back and then took over the female side. So now I'm only left with the male side. So in those 2 wards, the main patients that I had there is your septic circumcisions, lots of them, is your incomplete abortion, maybe threatened abortion, waiting for just to see what's going to happen, maybe if we need to take to theater for an evac, or they just need bed rest. So I've got those patients. Acute abdomen patients, maybe patients that have been operated, because if you refer a patient to Mandela, they will do the patient and then later on refer the patient to you, down referral. So maybe you want to keep those patients for a day or 2. So I would have patients like that. I would have patients, I've got all patients that have, all trauma patients, they come to my ward. Head injuries, just in the sense that, remember, head injury can just be a scalp injury, or it can be actually a brain injury, like a TBI, traumatic brain injury. So I had patients like that, some just for observations to see, do they really have a traumatic brain injury? So I would have patients with fractures that are waiting to be referred or are on traction, and so those are patients. And also, yeah, mainly it's those patients. And also steps, those who have got, who are on ICDs, and your crash injury patients, rhabdomyolysis patients, have a lot of those. So that's what happens. Those are the patients that I'm taking care of. So, and then that's during the day. Then after hours, we do overtime. And the overtime that the calls here are structured differently. So the way calls are structured differ from hospital to hospital. So where I'm working, the way they are structured is that there's always 2 doctors on call. You've got your first on call and then your second on call. The first on call doctor takes care of casualty and maternity. And then the second on call doctor takes care of the ward plus high care. So if there's anything that happens in the ward, the nurses will call the second on call. So if there's anything that happens or that is happening in maternity, or there's a problem in casualty, they will call the first on call. The second on call also assists if there's a Caesar. So that's how our calls are structured. So today you can be second on call, and then the other day you are first on call. So just like that. So so yeah, that's briefly how we work. And we work until past 4, and we work until patients are done in OPD. So yeah. Now, what also I want to talk about is the issue of ComServes being under supervision, working under supervision. You will say it when you do ComServe, and or those who have done ComServe already, they will agree with me that there isn't real supervision in ComServe. There is no one who is ready to babysit anyone in ComServe. I mean, the supervision part of it is just on paper. Yeah, I don't know, maybe when they say supervision, there's a kind of supervision that we expect, but when we get here is not what we expect. So the kind of supervision that you get here, oh, it's so minimal, eh? It's also minimal. You know, in my first, actually, in these 2 weeks that I've been working here, there isn't anyone who has like called me or asked me, how am I doing in the ward? Am I coping? Am I overwhelmed? How are things? No one did that. And you know what I've realized is that, you know, doctors, there are very few. I mean, if you've got like only few senior doctors and you've got 3 or 4 comps that keep calling you, I mean, you'll get tired, and also your work is not going to move. So people are just tired, and people are just overwhelmed by their work. I mean, it's not a secret that there are hospitals, they do need doctors, but there's just no funds for those posts. So doctors that are in the doctors that work in these hospitals, they overstress themselves. I mean, if a hospital is supposed to have about 12 doctors, but you are only 6, it means that you have to stretch yourself to make sure that you don't lose patients unnecessarily,